Sorry, I was on mute. What's up? Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. No.
I'm gonna keep trying though. I'm on mute.
I can't get it. It won't let.
No. Wanna try putting in earbuds? Mm.
Hey,
Hey,
yeah, it was my
cool.
browser that wasn't working.
Gotcha. A lot of people are coming and going. Let's start. Um, Gail, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Gail. Hey, is that Mac?
Yeah. Try to take off my camera.
Okay, I think I'm gonna start and then we'll see if people will join me. Okay. Um, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start. Wait, can someone just leave? Yeah. Who's string slasher? Who's string slasher? Okay. I'll give you an overview first of all of what we're gonna talk about. Um, we're gonna start just like looking at the budget as a whole, but it's like what it's composed of. And I'm gonna explain like kind of how the calendar works. So like what kind of things what our expenses include and where income comes from. Um, and then we're going to talk about like the financial situation in the past few years, and then talk specifically about summer camp. A little bit about like everything, um, and then some like comparison to other camps, and then talk about what's being done now. Sound good? So That's it for now. Put it on mute, and then if you have a question, you can go off mute. And then what I'm going to do is, like, I have a PowerPoint, so I'm going to screen share it, and then you can see the PowerPoint. Okay. You guys see that? Can you see it? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So, every year, okay, first of all, another disclaimer. I got like the spreadsheets from about the budget and everything from Omer, but they're not like exact. So I'm talking about like generally how things work, and like the numbers might be a little bit off, but this will give you like a general idea. So every year, around like $500,000 get kind of like circulated. So incomes and expenses. And that includes summer camp, everything that we do around the year, and it also includes Yedid and Shnan. So besides incomes from like the various machanot and whatever, there's income from like funds, from kind of like charity funds, and from donations from campaigns. And then the things that we spend on besides our programming is salaries to the directors and whatever. The office, the cost for the office also includes like vehicle rentals, and then like other various fees, accounting fees, whatever it is. So, oh, and then Yedid and Shnat are kind of a separate budget. So we have, because they're shared with Canada, so that's around $100,000, and I'm going to be talking mostly about the rest of it. So when you look at like income for all of the programs, this is kind of how it splits up. Like the summer camp is like the vast majority of the source of like the vast majority of the cash flow. But this is a little deceiving because if you take into account funds and campaigns, it's actually a good deal less. So funds are just various kind of like organizations that we have kind of like deals with, where they either like match donations or whatever it is, or they donate a specific amount of a year. And then campaigns are campaigns that we do either during the summer throughout the year to try to reach out to either like current parents or alumni like Bogrim, wherever it is that like has some kind of connection. So that's a breakdown. And then Yedid and Shnan, as I said, it's a separate budget. It's around 100,000, and it's like roughly self-sustainable. So it's not necessarily profitable, but it kind of like works out. Like some years we make less, some years we make more, but it evens out that way. So now we'll look at kind of like the profitability of each of our programs. And okay, this is the program returns for 2016 and then for 2017. So here for summer camp, it's important to note that this is for only the tuition. If you only take account the tuition and not the donations and the funds. And so in 2016, we actually had a net loss. In 2017, there was a smaller loss. But as you can see, like Bomer and Mosh Choef are like the more popular ones and the more profitable ones. More kids come to them. The community we're struggling with, and also as you found like through that struggle this year. It's very managed. Yeah. Okay. But also, as I said, this is for the past 2 years. It gives you a general picture, but it like fluctuates from year to year. And this is then if you look at Mosh kites. And so if you add in the additional income, which is the first column, it's these two, it gives you a lot different picture. So also tell me if you're confused by any of the terms and I can explain. So this is the income these two are the income if you include the additional income, and this is only if you include because that's only what the kids pay. So if you include them, then it does come out as like profitable. But if you don't, it's not. And yeah, and then we'll go into kind of how that is in the future in terms of like kids signing up and costs to sorry.
Jonathan. Mandela wrote a question in the comments.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Okay, sorry. So, as I was saying before, you have sorry. As I was saying before, when the staff does the budget, they include in the income for the summer various other sources of income that are like besides tuition, which includes, as I said, organizations that like donate money to Hashomer and campaigns that we do throughout the year. So yeah, and then tuition only is only what kids pay. Make sense? Okay. Go back. Okay, so I'll come back in a second. We'll look at the past couple of years. Something important. Up until a few years ago, there is this very big grant that was given to us every year, $100,000, which is a lot considering our like total budget, 500,000, which in 2015 was the last year that we got this this grant. For some reason, there was some change in the organization, and they stopped giving it to us. And it's not sure if we'll get it in the future. So you can look at like the income throughout the year, and then you notice that 2016, it's like there's a big loss, like bigger than before. And so this year we're actually projected to finish at 0, like a net income of 0. And this isn't like the money that we have in the bank. This is just the balance for every year. Yeah. Questions about that?
So we're projecting that we're gonna basically cancel the debt that we have. Is that it? Or...
No. This is this isn't debt. It's only every year our
Okay.
income minus our costs. So it's only the balance for like that specific year. I'll show you in a second the overall bank balance.
Okay.
So this is the overall bank balance. It's a little bit confusing. Also, I don't know what it was before, like what the situation exactly was before 2014. I heard that it wasn't very good, like it was worse. But if you look at this, okay, I'm gonna explain for a second how the calendar year works. So our budget finance system works from January to January. So we start like January to December. So we close in December. So everything that's included in 1 year starts from, I believe, winter camp, and goes winter camp, like Bomer, summer, stuff, and then we close in the winter. And then everything that, the only thing is that payments that we get for the following summer. So let's say this fall we get payments for the summer of 2018, go into next year's budget. So, and then when you're looking at this, it's important to think about in relation to the summer, our highest balance should be right before the summer, so like June, July, because during the summer is when we have to spend like the most amount of money on the summer camp. So if you see in like 2014, and sorry, if you remember, we spend roughly $300,000 in the summer, a little bit less. And so if you look at 2014, for instance, in June, July, we're in like okay shape. And then every year, it's like a little bit less during that period. And then this year, we started to get like a little bit more. And what's basically being done is like that we're borrowing forward. So we take payments that we're getting from the future. This is what like Omer is doing. For now, he's taking payments from the future, and he's using them for like the present. And so we're not exactly we are in debt, but we're not like in huge debt per se. But it is like it's not the healthiest situation. Questions about this? Okay. And this is just to show you kind of how much the Freedom grant had an impact on our income. So
Mandela is asking, what do you mean we're in debt?
like there's some people that we owe money to, like we owe money to the world movement, I believe, but it's not like we're in a huge amount of debt. Roughly right now we're kind of at like a place where we have zero, let's say. So right, the account is positive, but there's like payments that we haven't made yet. There's also a little bit of income that we haven't made yet, but as I said, we're going to end the year at a net income of around zero, and so like we'll have a little bit of money in the bank. I'm not sorry, that was in response to Mandela. I'm not completely sure what it is as of now. I'm gonna run through, break down how summer camp works. So these are the main things that we spend money on. Sorry. Okay. Maintenance and repairs, travel, utilities, education, marketing, salaries, and other. And the things that I put in quotation marks are just kind of I'll explain in a second. But those were higher this year, and those are the reasons why they were higher.
Wait, so would stuff like food go under utilities?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, no, food is separate. I'll show you a graph in a second.
Okay.
Didn't include food, my bad. So this is the breakdown, roughly. Salaries includes like Nitzan's pay, Sharan's pay, the educational shlichas pay. Yeah, kitchen is I think the next biggest one, and so is utilities. And okay, as I was saying, travel is a little bit higher this year because we went to the water park, I believe. This is, sorry, I'll also show you, this is 2017 and versus this is 2016. So 2017, I fucked these up. No, I didn't, okay. So if you look at Adakha, for instance, in 2017, Adakha is a little bit higher. So just to point out, we had like the initiative last year where we decided that we were gonna do, people were gonna like sacrifice their pay and other people were gonna like get how much they need. So the extra pay this year is because of, see, it's 10% versus 7.5%. The extra pay is because of mostly like shlichim that we brought in, and additional tocha, like we paid like for mandats more. But actually, if you look at it, we ended up spending roughly the same amounts on the madrichim. So it's like, I'm not saying it's like it's a bad it was a bad decision, but in terms of like the impact on Moshe, it wasn't very significant. Yeah. Any questions about this? Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about tuition. So, because I'm assuming this is, you don't remember off the top of your head, these are the breakdowns for how much tuition costs. And actually, this is for the coming year. We actually, we made it, it was made a little bit differently, where there's less options this year where people are not going to be able to sign up for 1 week unless they like had been previously. And the cost of a full summer is a little bit higher. So I want to show you something. The kind of like how the tuition matches up to the cost of like running the camp per week. So I have here a graph, and I kind of broke it down how much the cost was for running the camp for an additional week. This is not including the overhead costs versus how much we get from tuition. And this is according to the number of kids. So if you see the stars are the number of kids. The oranges are how much we get from tuition, and the red is how much we get from how much we have to spend for every additional week. So if you see the first 3 weeks are like very profitable, and obviously the last 3 aren't. In fact, the last 2 were kind of losing money. And then if you want to look at it as like a cumulative, I have another graph. And so here in the first week, you have, this is all the overhead cost for the summer. And then see like every kind of step is the additional cost per week. And then the red is the tuition. So in the 3rd week, we kind of like break even. The 4th week doesn't make like much of a difference. And then 5th and 6th week, we're already losing money. So that's something to think about. There's a discussion. I don't know who know about it. There was a discussion last year about not running for 6 weeks, and eventually it was turned down. But it does cost like a decent amount of money for the camp to run. And really like the biggest factor is the number of kids, as you can see. Questions about this? Okay.
Chat.
Huh?
I got a question in the chat.
You want to read them out?
Okay. I said, what is the reason that the 1 week option was removed altogether? I guess that I understand that it might not be profitable, but if you put, I guess, a slight penalty on it, make it slightly more expensive if you bought 2 1 weeks. Did you understand what I'm saying? I mean, if a 1 week, if 2 weeks costs quote $500, that would, and then the original price for 1 week would be $250. If you just, instead of moving that option, upping it to say $300, would that might, I don't want to make financial policy here, but
Yeah.
I feel like we might lose quote unquote customers.
It was like that. It was
still.
I mean, obviously, the longer you stay, the less it costs per week. And whoever like has been a camper in the past and has stayed for like 1 week or whatever is still able to do that. But I think the thinking was to kind of like motivate people to stay longer.
Stay longer.
Yeah.
Again, I guess my point still stands. Do you want to, or would it still be a viable idea to just up the penalty even more? Because I feel like people would not come if they can't stay. Because I know a lot of people who will only stay for 1 week. Regardless, and maybe. Even if you put it up to 450 for 1 week and 500 for 2, you still have that slight bit of discount.
Maybe, but it's also, I think, just logistically easier to plan a summer when you have like kids that are staying consistently, not kids that are constantly coming and going. I don't know exactly what the rationale was. It's something that we can ask the shift team.
I also have a question.
Yeah.
Are we afraid that by taking away the 1 week option, we could be possibly discouraging campers from coming along with their mini-mosh siblings, possibly? Or discouraging campers from showing up if they can only do 1 week?
Can you rephrase that? I didn't get it.
I think usually when kids sign up to summer camp, I wouldn't get stuck too much on the 1 week. I don't think most kids like stay for 1 week.
I mean, like, yeah, but we have I know a lot of kids who come for 1 and then they choose 2, but they don't sign up for 2 immediately. Are we afraid that by taking away the option at all for them to sign up for any amount of time, we're taking away their option to come for the summer?
I didn't decide to do this. I also can't like predict the future. I feel like no, because I feel like when you give it's like kind of like the power of suggestion. I think if people think that we could have also told people that they can come for half a week, but you have to set a minimum, and the minimum kind of like sets the standard. But like that's something that we can discuss with the shift team, but I don't really know how much of an impact it's gonna have. The big thing that I wanted, that I think to get out of this though is like the impact of the number of kids. I mean, and also besides that, just like having more kids is better. Okay. Wait, any other questions, or can I move on? Okay.
Yeah. Wait, where are you? I don't get how you're in 6 week. Does the graph accurately represent you losing money in the 5th and 6th week? Should the orange and red lines be reversed? Because it looks the same as the first.
Right, because in the first you have in the beginning you have the overhead cost, and so by week, like the first week is, in terms of the cost by week, is profitable, but you still have to pay for all the overhead costs. So like this is what we start out off of. It's all the costs that we pay in the beginning. Overhead is like what you pay, not based on time, but just like at all. So even if we wanted to open the camp for only one summer, we'd have to pay this.
Oh, wait, I got my lines mixed up. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Lines make more sense. Okay, so you want them to stay for what, 3 to 4 weeks? That's like the goal.
No, I mean, like right now, the last 2 weeks just are not profitable and we're losing money on them. And if we can get more kids to come, that'd be better. I mean, like that would be great.
I'm just saying. So like the most profitable time is between 3 and 4.
No, it's 1 and 2. Here, I'll show you this. This is how much. The orange is how much comes in per week.
I don't know. Okay. This makes more sense. The other graph didn't seem. I get this.
The other graph is a cumulative. So this is overall how much money do we spend, and then this is overall how much tuition are we getting. Like this would be first week plus second week. This would be first week plus second week plus third week. Got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool. So kind of a breakdown of the. So we have the majority are from New York, New Jersey, and we roughly have like an even amount from there. A few come from other places in the U.S., and then there's a good chunk that actually come from other countries or Europe. And like this is not including TOE or anything. So yeah. And then by Kavutsa, the older, like more coming, obviously.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About the kids from Europe. Are those including the staffers' kids who don't pay?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll double check them.
Thanks. And also, is the kids by Futsagraph from 2017 or this coming year?
2017.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and this is really the most important one. So this is, we had 43 new kids this summer, which is huge. It was a big deal. And this is kind of showing the breakdown of how they came. So the most came from current families, so families that are like growing emotion now. They're like, I think recommendations for current families. After that, it's siblings. Actually, a decent amount heard about it online, although it was from like a bunch of random places. So I don't know how accountable that is. What is it? Basically, where you can get out of this, that like we mostly get kids from like word of mouth, from recommendations from like people who know. So that's important. Mogulin means like somebody who has a Bulgarian nationality recommends camp, just like somebody else that they know. Bulgarian children just means children of Bulgarian. Okay. Can we move on? So now we're going to look at retention rates. Okay. So the retention rate is, let's say one summer we have 20 new kids. The retention rate is the next summer, how many of them come back? So, sorry. Let's say we have 10 kids in one summer. The retention rate is overall how many of them came back, and then the new camper retention rate is how many of the new kids came back. So what you can see from this is In a second, I'm going to talk about like how we compare to other camps, but we do very well in terms of like campers that have already been coming for a while. But in terms of like new campers, it's not as much. So a lot of kids like once.
I don't know how that happened. Who's doing
But
it?
usually, what happens is if they stay for more than one summer, if they come for two, then they're like locked in. Questions about this? There's a website called JData, which is basically just like online database about like all the Jewish camps in the United States and Canada. So I like got some like facts that we can kind of compare. We are a small Zionist camp, which is a small minority of the camps, and it's also ones that are like overall in decline, even though like overall most camps are getting more kids. So capacity utilization means like, let's say your camp can hold like our camp can hold like maximum of 200 kids. What percent of that are actually coming? And so on average, most camps are around 80%, and we're a lot less. I think we can hold like a little bit less than 200. We had 120 last time. Also, our retention rates are a little bit low in comparison. And the last thing, when you talk about how camps are funded, most camps fund about 90% of their cost during the summer with tuition. We are at a lot less than that. We used to be, I think, at about 60, and now we're around 80. So in terms of what is being done right now, after we lost the grant, a lot of changes were made immediately. Not immediately, it took a little bit, but we moved the lishka, as you know. We cut our office expenses. Pay cuts. Part of the logic of the Mandat's program was this also because in most of the camps.
Can I have the headphones? I can't hear. Can I have the headphones? I can't hear. Yeah, sure.
When they're Mandat's age, but ours they don't. As I said, we increased the cost of staying 6 weeks. We made some investments. Now, some of the investments, I think, like we can argue whether they're good or not. Some of them were like in the physical camp. And also there's a thing called OHC scholarship. OHC scholarships are, it's called One Happy Camper, and it's basically, there's a fund, I think it's by the Jewish Federation, where if you're a first-time camper to any camp, they'll like give you a scholarship for going to camp. The thing is that in in New Jersey, they'll give it, they'll pay for our camp, I guess, but in New York, they won't. So what we're doing is we're advertising it for New York too, and we're giving the scholarships instead of the Jewish Federation. So that's something new that was being done. Also, we're budgeting. I talked to Snappy and Ori's mom, who's on the finance committee, and what they're basically trying to do is trying to like save money to have a financial cushion and to be able to save money for investments in the future. So that's kind of what's being done right now by them. And in terms of us, first of all, the number one thing that can be done is just like to bring more campers. As you saw from the graph, more campers is it's more fun, and it's also better financially. Another thing that we can do is help with capital campaigns. I'll explain again what the capital campaigns are. There's one campaign during the summer, and then one campaign towards the end of the year, so in the winter. And it's just like basically asking people that are related to the movement for donations. And I think there's like 1,000 people or something total in the database. And last year we only got to like about 100 of them. So that's also a way that we can help out. And yes, Mandel, I'm gonna open up to discussions in a second. But first of all, there is good news. So far, up until now, 79, it might be more, campers signed up for the next summer. And so there's a 66% retention rate and a 62% retention rate for new chanechim. And like again, this is like the beginning of the year, and not everyone has signed up yet. So it's like still the numbers are kind of like stacked towards the beginning of the summer, but yeah, so that's good news. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to questions, and then we can think of ideas if you have. Does anyone have questions overall? No questions? Okay.
No, not for me. I don't have any.
And that was talking to me.
Wait. Jonathan, how are you feeling?
In general,
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. That's fine.
Can you share the PowerPoint?
Huh?
Can you share the PowerPoint thing that you made?
I can share the paper. Okay. And I'll ask the second question rates increase in match this question what were affected the efforts. Let me see. If we manage to do that, then we could bring in another $1,000. But yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, but I think like you can. Last week was I think something like 36, even less, 25. I think you can definitely get to like at least 50. I don't know. But it is a question if the way it is now to still yeah. Okay. Any ideas?
Ori has something to say. Me and Rafa are going to, together as a collective, go through the PowerPoint because we didn't have connection, so we couldn't see this at all. And we're going to come back to you with ideas. Because we have them.
Okay. You might need some explaining, so maybe. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. But I don't know. For instance, I thought one thing that could be cool is if we try to like get finishing to get their friends to come by like having some kind of competition based on pizza. I don't know, nothing fun. Is Muhammad saying something?
I'm saying that's a great idea. I really like it.
Me too.
Yeah, Lily. I have a question. There were rumors of Shomerware being a thing. Do we have any idea if that's actually happening in the US?
Make it happen. There's no reason why we can't.
All right. Also, you said there was a marketing budget. Do we know where that's going to, or can we like get more information about that by chance?
Yeah, I'm assuming most of it is online, but I can find out exactly.
Thank you.
So we're going to start today by just doing a couple of remedies.
Wait, they'll hear that,
Very
Mommy.
simple
Sorry.
remedies, not much to say.
Do we know the reason people don't stay second session? Mandela. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Mandela, we would be in a lot better shape then. The reasons why people don't stay, I think probably part of it is just like in terms of family time. I think parents like want to spend some time with their kids. And I don't know if we have time. I think parents like want to spend some time with their kids. What is happening? Oh, okay. But I don't have like that information. We didn't take a poll. But okay, Nahama.
I feel like also, sorry.
Go on.
Okay, I feel like also part of the reason why kids might not stay second session is like it's a length thing, and 6 weeks is a long time for younger kids, and most of their friends probably come for a session.
What if we redefined like what a session was? So like, I don't know. This is just an idea. Like instead of 2 3-week sessions, we have 3 2-week sessions. We could price accordingly.
3 2 sessions.
Just a thought that occurred to me.
Actually, the way that it's working right now, David, is kind of similar to that, because like you see that there's actually a decent amount of kids that stay for the 4th week, but then the 5th and 6th week there aren't a lot. And Ahama, in response to what you were saying, second session is it's a lot cheaper in terms of like if you stay for second session, it's cheaper, and like it's like not profitable. And this year they're like bumping the price because they realized that it wasn't making that much of a difference. But also if we bring more kids in general, then it's like more likely that more will stay for second session. Like we don't have to bring them specifically to second session, but we can encourage it. Also, another thing to think about is that if we have like kind of like the way I see this is that our whole like movement as of now is sustained by the summer camp, and really like the more successful the summer camp is, the more we're going to be able to invest in other things and like we're in the future. So it's kind of like self-perpetuates, but I think that's the way to think about it. Mandela, maybe we should this summer. In terms of around the year, like I can show you the graph again, but it really doesn't compare a lot. Like, this is the summer versus throughout the year. And like when you think about it also, I think like more kids, the most new kids probably come around the summer. There's probably a good amount during Lag BaOmer, but I think usually the logic in that is that they like are trying it out during Lag BaOmer. And like we don't really get a lot of new kids throughout the year. And so kids who come throughout the year are usually kids who have been to the summer. Yeah, we could do a poll. That's an idea. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll wrap it up by saying, first of all, thank you guys for coming and listening and taking interest. I think it's important that we're kind of engaged with this side of Moshe, and I think the Shlichim on the board are also glad. I'll share everyone on the PowerPoint. If you want it, send me your emails. And I think an idea is, first of all, you guys can explain to other people the situation now if they weren't here. We can either pair up or however you want to do it, kind of write plenum proposals. Either that or just like act and like talk to the shlichim and like make things happen and take initiative. But whatever way, I really encourage everyone to do that. I'm gonna do that. And also I think it's important to like keep this in mind when we hear about decisions that are being made by the board, by the shlichim. I know that there's a lot of times things that like happen that are very they're like unpopular or whatever. But I think this way we can maybe like understand more and also offer our own ideas.
Jonathan,
What?
is this a bad time for me in order to say ideas, or should we just send them to you on the DL?
No, you can say ideas, for sure.
Okay, we have some. Ori.
No, you lied.
Okay, this is my first idea. Okay. Wait, the TV is distracting me. We don't need more distractions than we already have in this capitalist society. Oh, holy girl.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, basically what we were saying is that, as we were talking to each other, is that, okay, I think a lot of times we get caught up in, like, we need to, like, raise money in a way that is still socialist, which we definitely do. Like, we need to make sure that we're not, like, selling children to get money. Sorry, why would we ever do that?
But I think there are a lot of ways that are still socialist in like a different way than we might think so at first. I think a lot of things can be like, okay, like at first we were saying like, what if we like thought about like kidneys that were like big, and what if we like charged extra money from them, and we're like, no, we don't want to make like our education like cost more money or like limit who can come to the Ken. But what if at those Ken we also had parents events where we raffle things off? Like let's say my mom is a hairstylist, which she's not. But let's say she could be like, hey, like I'll raffle out like a free haircut, and then like, just have a lot of like.
I want it. I'll buy a raffle ticket.
Oh, good. Thanks. Like I could raffle out like if you want, you know, a dance lesson. I can do that. Yeah, I don't know. Like people can think of we can have actual things within like different things that people would actually want to have a raffle thing. We could also have like, giant bake sales in public locations. Or it's not about love.
So if you got cut by a knife, a piece of glass,
like sort of events to like I guess, give back to the community in some way, where there's like you know, like when you go to a museum.
It has great pain at the site of an incision after surgery.
You know, like when you go to a museum and you don't have to pay, but they're like, oh, here's a suggested donation.
Yeah.
So like that kind of thing, where it's like some sort of event where like you do something, blah blah blah,
And
gives
it's like
back to the community. Could be something like super educational also, and like really good for like the kids that could like teach them about some sort of amazing value that also happens to make money.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And in addition, okay, so this is what they do at the Belgian can. Okay. I don't really like the Belgian can always, but I like this. Actually, no, I don't like this. Okay. They do this thing where they spend like 2 months like preparing this giant show for the parents, and then like parents give like a shit ton of money to come watch.
Show.
Yeah,
A talent show.
A talent show to come watch the show, and they like bring snacks, and you have to pay for the snacks, and that is where they have
that's
the bake sales,
genius.
and they can have a car wash outside, like some giant event, something big that like the kids can come up with, and like we're obviously not going to put on a giant show because we can't even get kids to come, whatever. But like we could do something and organize it like a really like well-planned talent show. That is so good. Oh my god, we should fly to the US for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like there are a lot of things that I think we can do to raise money, and like more like those type of events. Conveniently. I have no idea what that was gonna follow that. Okay, we out.
Okay. I'm gonna say my thoughts about that. We actually do charge, first of all, we actually do charge money for the Ken. But because of like the way it is, there's not a lot of honey cream, and people are not like very consistent. We don't like bring in too much from it.
Wait, you charge for each. How does that work?
We charge a year-round fee. But like the thing is, like, because people will like come once and like not come back or whatever, it's like very hard to keep track of people and like who's been coming and like who's paying now, whatever. So like some people pay and some don't, and I think it would be like, what would be ideal is if it was very accountable and like we had people come consistently, but it's like also a problem because of the size that we're currently at, where it's hard, like it's like hard to build up from a small size, which is like kind of confusing because you have to start somewhere, but I think that also, as I said before, the Kanim are not the place that we necessarily like get new kids. Like some do come, but the majority of people come from recommendation. And so I think we should think about it in how do we build up this summer, and then from the summer, once we have a good amount of kids, then we can think about like starting the Ken on a wider scale. I also think that like because of the way it is now, we have kids coming from like a lot of different places, and if you think about other youth movements, youth movements either like here or in Israel or whatever, they don't really have that as much. Like the Tzofim here, everyone lives in the same town, and like here for the Ken, we have kids driving like half an hour away, which is like, it's very hard to like build up a community in that sense. And so I personally think that we need to like be more focused. But yeah, I think all those ideas that you had are like great, but we need to have like a solid basis before we do them.
I disagree, because I think these events are like these ideas are completely independent of any like structure that we already have. It's like things that would be special in their own way, like knowing that the Purim Ken is like, I guess that's not that independent, like is always a big Ken. So like let's advertise like months in advance that it's going to be something actually like huge, and there's going to be like a fundraiser, and there's going to be I don't know. I don't think that like this is something that depends on like a solid Ken structure. I think it's something that can also like come completely on its own. Like how sometimes we have like those like Shabbat dinners at your house, and like what if we make that a bigger event that has to do with like raising money as well? And like I don't think that turns it doesn't turn us into like a money seeking thing. I think just like any other type of community organization that like needs to function, especially if it wants to function in a way that gives kids the opportunity to come with like out paying like crazy amounts of money, that we like do need to get that money from the outside. Like I just think it's independent.
Wait, I also just think that those two things could be happening like parallel to each other. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I think like things like the Purim Kanim and like Hanukkah parties are like the best way to like recruit kids, which I think like the only thing those graphs showed is like kids are the way to make the money for this. Like I know I hate saying like make the money and like using them like that, but like if we recruit kids, not only do we get a strong Ken basis, but we can get them signed up for camp and we can get the money from that. And I also think that like maybe I don't know if I'm interpreting this correctly, but like big events do need to like before you put the money into like planning them or like getting them done, you need to know that you're gonna have the audience for them. Maybe like I do like the idea, but no, I think like we should like really focus on like Purim Kanim and Hanukkah parties, because those can like really invite your community in and like help build a strong community basis. And also like get in touch with like community business owners and stuff, because like they love putting flyers up and doing stuff for you. I know here like I've gotten a bunch of business owners who love having us put flyers up, and like they're super cooperative. And I think if we start advertising things like that like a month in advance, we can get a much stronger basis for our parties.
Cool. Sorry, what was I gonna okay, I agree with you. I agree with you, but also like again, if you think about the if you looked at the graph, like not a lot of new kids come from Ken's, and we had like an open house night this year, and like it ended up that like no new families came. And I think the problem is like mostly in the way that like we brand. I think like we need rebranding, because I think like there's kind of like been a stigma that has grown over the past few years, and like it's a stigma that's like hard to kind of like hard to break, because for the past few years the Ken was what it is now. It's like it's small and not like disorganized, but like not the most accountable thing. And I think if we kind of like not started over, but like came from like a different direction and like maybe strategized more, we could build something that was more sustainable. But those are just my thoughts. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. I feel like we can work to be sustainable while continuing what we're doing. I feel like you don't have to stop like the way that it's going to try and make a different approach. Like I feel like those two things can be simultaneously happening. Because I mean, I know I can't really go to the New Yorkens, but I can like maybe help strategize how to make them more sustainable while they're still going on. That's it.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna send everyone the PowerPoint, and actually, Ronnie and Ori, would you want me to just explain it to you now quickly? I can give you a summary. Okay. Okay. So everyone else, thank you, and let's keep thinking about this. I'm gonna update you about forming a committee. Okay.
Cool. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It worked so perfectly. It was like a magic spell. It was so amazing.
Wait, you know, Ori and his friends started calling each other Ori. Okay,
Wait, is that
Ori starts. Okay, they call Micha Mikush. They call Ori Kochanush, and they call Uri Bais Baisush.
Wait, I used to do that with my friends. They called me. It was me, Adi, and Demi Yona, and Gal. No, but it wasn't
Galush,
Galush.
Orush.
It was Chuk. It was Galchuk, Olchuk, Dichuk.
Dichuk?
Yeah, it sounded stupid. They just wanted to be a part of Galchuk and Olchuk. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I wanted to say hi to you guys, but I was in the middle of it. How are you?
In the middle of something.
Oh, we're watching the best season of MasterChef.
Yeah, we're really
That's why
watching
we
it.
were here.
Really?
We're not. We thought it was gonna be on TV today, and then Rami drove 40 minutes to where I'm living so she could watch it with me. And it wasn't on TV today.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Was it the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to present it like I did to them really quickly?
Present it like you're trying to sell something. No, present
Wait.
it in a Russian accent.
Okay.
Present it like you had vodka for breakfast.
Ew.
Like I'm a drunk Russian?
Vodka for breakfast?
Only in Africa.
Oh, it's that. What? After prom?
Yeah.
Wait, what, you mean prom weekend? Wait, why would you? Even I didn't.
I told you they woke me up. They're like, "Wake up, bitches! It's time to
Oh,
drink."
true. That's horrible.
And I was like, "Okay."
LOL, Hashomer is over. No, but really, this
Wait. Oh,
Okay.
Ori, checking his homework with my dad, and he goes, "Shalosh, Trump shave chala." And I was like, "What?" My dad's like, "Ori." He's like, "Mom."
Is everyone ready?
Well, again,
What?
wait, the accent, just I didn't hear it.
Is everyone ready?
I'm not ready, my sweets, but Lana left the pig in the oven.
That's freaking good.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm trying to show off.
So, $500,000 every year gets pushed around. Okay, I'm not gonna do this. So, budget as a whole is around $500,000. $100,000 of that is Yadid and Shnat, and it's kind of a separate budget that's along with Canada. And so everything else is the year-round stuff and the summer camp. And then we have some additional funds coming in that are from like different organizations and funds. Yeah, and we have like donations coming in from people that are related to the camp, so like private donations. And then besides spending on the programs, we also spend on salaries, like the office and some other stuff like accounting fees, the cars, whatever it is. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is how it breaks down. Sales part? Okay.
Yeah.
Sales part. Yeah, I mean, so what I was saying is really that I don't think that we need to think of the year round as a place to make money. I think that like we need to increase our profit a little bit over the summer, because when you think about it, if you increase it a lot, like a little bit over the summer, it makes a big difference in terms of what we have available during the year. Huh?
I have a question though. When you're saying like the year round as a place to make money, you're saying like the year round can as it is, or are you saying like during the entire year we just need to like not focus on making money? because I think what we need to do is we need to focus on outside of the structures we have, or keep going.
Yeah, and
Wait, you just mean focusing on raising revenue through Moshkites, not through the Canadian.
I think that just like that is the place that we're gonna be able to like make more of a profit, and if we do have more of a profit there, then we'll be able to invest more in like creating better programs throughout the year, because we've had like Shabbat dinners, and we've had all that jazz, and they're not exactly like, usually like they cost money if anything.
Okay, but okay. Imagine
Yeah,
this:
say what you said
a
before.
beautiful world. Okay, we find someone who happens to have a giant, beautiful house. Say, you,
Yonan's on Shargan.
and then we have a plan that we advertise like a solid 2 months in advance. That's 2 whole months for Odelia and other moms to schnazzle with the other moms and be like, "Yo, come to my house, Shabbat dinner, bring your rich families."
Even with the help from social media coordinators Ronnie and Ori.
Yeah. And then you say, okay, everyone brings something with you. It's gonna be potluck, meaning everyone cooks something. So the most where Hashomer is gonna spend money is like $10 on bringing like chips, because everyone's gonna cook something, and you're really gonna make sure they all do it. Trust me, we literally had this cat at my house that was so badly organized, like 2 minutes before, and so many people came. Like there were like 50 people there, and there's so much food. It's possible. And then you make the next very well planned pulo, and really really fun things, and really great things for the adults also, and shira and raffles. Other things. I can't because I'm looking at myself. I can't picture myself.
I don't know why you're still sharing your screen. Anyway, the point is right there. Ronnie's thought that is unfinished is setting up an event that doesn't cost too much money and utilizing it and doing things that would raise money at the same time. No, it's over. No, down. This on the third one, all the way to the
Okay. We did exactly that this year. We had an open house night. It was in the fall. We advertised it like a month and a half in advance, and it was in Tenafly. And every like the parents, because like the way that you get people to come to those things is like people recommend like bring their friends, right? Like they introduce their friends. So we had that. It wasn't even potluck. I think we got catering or something. And like no one brought any new people. And it was like we invited kids to come, and we had like 10 madrichim there, and we planned pulot. And I think we've just like I think we should like get out of this area. Honestly, like I think we should. Yeah, I think we should find it like a different communities to try to reach out to, because
bad idea.
Huh?
But again, first of all, try and do it as a potluck next time, and second, maybe like making a point of making the event different in a way that will attract an audience that doesn't only consist of people who like want to be a part of the community and like whatever. And I had another thought, but now I'm not remembering what it was. But I think that's a really good idea. If sorry, if you could find some sort of like facility that could let you do, or maybe someone's house. I mean, we didn't know, but then it's still pretty much in the area for people who go to the community, right? Maybe you can do an event. No, that's so much.
What? Okay, what I was thinking was like I think there's two different ways that we can approach this. We can approach this as trying to like get parents interested, or we can try to like get kids. And so if you're trying to get little kids, then you have to like get their parents, right? And like currently the kanim are mostly like for little kids, and little kids are not very interested. Sorry, older kids are not very interested, and fuck, what was I gonna say? And I think like Hashomer just like has a stigma already in Tenafly, and most of the people who are like there's not like that many Jews here. Like most of the Israelis are either going to Tzufim or like already go to Hashomer, or like go to Hashomer during the summer, but then like don't come to year-round things.
Yeah, but I feel like what you're talking about is like what we should be doing about the Ken, which I agree. Like I think a Ken should be in like Montclair where 90% of the people vote Democrat and stuff like that. But I think what we're talking about is like ways to fundraise, which are separate from like it has nothing to do about like how good the Ken is. It's about like specific times where we can like gather people in a way that will be interesting both to kids of all ages and parents, and something that is like a special event that we can get more Hadrakah to come to ahead of time, and like can plan in a way where we can like not have to like spend that much money and just can like gain money. I just think it's two different things.
But I was just telling Ori that we had an event like that this fall, where it was an open house, and we invited people like way in advance, and we had a ton of madrichim there, and like people like we talked to like parents that were active in the movement here and told them to bring their friends, and like ended up being no new parents came, no new families came to it.
No, but okay, but it's not about recruitment. I'm talking about money.
Right. No, but even that, like, just like year-round events are not like very profitable. I think what we need to do is like, as I said before, get more kids to come in the summer, and then once we have more kids in the summer, we'll have more to invest in the year. Because like right now we're mostly just like spending during the year, you know. I think what should be done also because like what was I gonna say? Because the hadacha isn't very accountable and they're very scattered, and so it's like hard to do something like I can. Is we should have like more seminar type things. Like okay, like Zula, right? Where like basically something exactly like that, where we offer like madrichim to lead like youth leadership programs, and then first of all for older kids, and second of all, instead of a Ken format, like more of a seminar format, because just I feel like older kids are more likely to be into that. Like if you get them for a few days, then they're more likely to come back than if you get them for like 2 hours. And
is that why you asked about the place?
No, that was for the Boglim seminar.
That's a good idea, but I feel like super expensive.
I mean, for that we can ask people to pay.
But will people want to pay? Maybe if instead of an overnight thing, you could do it just like a long day. Like 12 to 12. You could, I don't know where you could do it, but
or like a series. We could do like, hey, sign up for like these 3 days, like consecutive weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea also.
But I don't know. Like Ronnie, like you've been here along with me for the past 2 years. I mean, not last year, but like the 2 years before last year. And like we did, like, I don't know, I feel like we did exactly that. Like we had like big events. We had a lot of, and we like had a lot of kids come. And it
I
just
don't think we ever focus on. We never let ourselves focus on money because we're scared to. I don't think we've ever had an event that's like.
But I'm saying, I'm like, I don't think the year is like where we need to be making profit, because it's just not like you add one kid to the summer and you get another like, I don't know, $8,000 in, something like that. No, a little bit less. But anyway, and that's like how much you can make from like, I don't know, maybe one event.
What if? Didn't you say you wanted to make like a VOD or a committee to like work on this?
Yeah, I do.
So what if you split it into two, if somehow you got enough people, and then one of them worked on things for the year, and then the other one worked on recruit more kids and get money for the summer?
There's so many great things in your head.
Because I really do think that like it shouldn't be one or the other. Like I understand that it would be more profitable.
I don't know if you can still hear me, but I think that in relation to what your ideas were, I think what we can do is we can, like I said, there's a capital campaign that happens every year. Can you hear me? I didn't hear anything that you said in the past 2 minutes. Wait, you're frozen again.
Kids and focus on the summer, but like there's no reason to
Me do this. The tingle goes. What do you do?
Wait, I didn't hear anything that you said.
Yeah, no, same. No, we did. We're just confirming that neither of us heard anything. Skip. You were saying things.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be a artist.
You are grown up, so.
Wait, shit. You're right. Okay, wait. We might have to. I don't know how this is gonna work now. And then